Quality and the Department of Health study the effects of 5G technology on the environment and public health. The Conscious Resistance reports the Louisiana legislature passed House Resolution 145 with a vote of 103 in favor and 0 representatives voting against the measure. The bill calls for the results of the study to be submitted to the Louisiana House Committee on Natural Resources and Environment, as well as the House Committee on Health and Welfare, no later than 60 days prior to the start of the 2020 regular session of the Louisiana legislature. 5G, or fifth-generation cellular technology, is the name for the latest telecom technology upgrade. There have been a number of health and privacy concerns raised by opponents of the rapidly advancing 5G expansion. Louisiana becomes the first state to call for their own independent study of the technology. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A report released Tuesday by physicists at Stanford University revealed that the entire known universe, from the whole of human civilization to the totality of matter and energy, is actually the fictional setting of a cop show called Hard Case. According to authors of the report, existence as we know it was created solely to provide the framework for the primetime drama that airs weekly in a parallel universe, and that every historical event prior to the show's September 2008 pilot, including the Renaissance, World War II, evolution, the September 11th attacks, and the presidential administrations of Washington through Clinton, never actually happened and are merely part of the elaborate backstory crafted by Hard Case creator and showrunner Dominic Egan.
We used to believe that our universe operated under immutable laws of thermodynamics and gravitational relativity, but now we know everything just comes from the minds of Hard Case's 12 staff writers. Overall, it seems like a very well-written show.
Physicists have theorized that the universe as we know it will cease to exist whenever Hard Case airs its final episode.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Take control of the airways. Tell us whatever is on your mind. That number is 855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Melanie,
and Mark.
And apparently, New Zealand and their attempts to respond to the tragic shootings at the mosque, or the tragic shootings at the mosques, rather, that occurred earlier this year, is not being overly successful in disarming prospective victims, rather.
Yeah.
Imagine how, so strange how that works.
Yeah, it turns out people who have guns don't want to give them to you if you ask for them. But,
amazing.
Yeah. So the article I have here is from activistpost.com, which is obviously a slanted article because the name of the website is activistpost.com. But I did.
So they're pro gun control, I'm assuming.
I think in this the opposite in this circumstance. This is more.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, But I did check this, and it's all verifiable by the mainstream media. I just happen to like their take on it by Matt Agorist here. In March, New Zealand Prime Minister, I don't know who these people are, Jacinda Ardern, announced the first tranche of a number of moves to restrict the rights of New Zealand citizens to protect themselves with firearms. This move was in direct response to the horrific murders that unfolded on March the 15th. Nobody is going to argue that.
No, but I mean, of course, we know what stopped the second mosque shooting from being as bad as the first one, and it was the fact that somebody there happened to have a gun and shot back.
I don't know how the people who write these things come to the conclusions that they do, but they do. over and over again. Their conclusion is that we can stop gun violence by taking guns away from people. And maybe over time on New Zealand, they can pull that off. Maybe. Because...
But it doesn't eliminate violence.
No, it certainly doesn't.
It just eliminates one particular manifestation.
Even if you could wave your hands and make all guns disappear and make it impossible to make a new one, that's going to create more violence, not less, because without guns, and even with guns, but some people are stronger than others, and so if guns don't exist, now as an aggressor, you just have to know who's weaker than you and how many people you need versus one victim. I mean...
God made man, Sam Colt made him equal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly eliminates a lot of the problem if you happen to be female or gay or something else, not one of these huge bodybuilders or anything like that, and you get attacked by someone who's just bigger or stronger than you are.
Maybe you just don't want to touch them. Maybe they look dirty.
Or
That's true as well.
Even if it's a fair fight, which is a weird phrasing, but even if it's a fair fight,
a fight between two equally capable people.
That's still not a good not a good plan. It's still not a good time, right?
That's
you
true.
still don't want to get into a fair fight.
No, I don't, especially if the fair fight wasn't my idea. You know, if some aggressor has some particular reason to want to fight me, the chances are good that their reasoning is not my reasoning, because I don't want to fight anybody.
I would tend to agree.
So if they want to, for whatever reason, do violence to me, then... And it's clear and it's imminent and it's all these things, then, a few holes center a mass is going to stop that desire in them immediately. Right?
Definitely. I mean, it eliminates a lot of the risk to you. Even if you're a capable fighter, the other person may simply be more capable.
Every single fight you get into, and it doesn't matter if it's somebody who's of lesser skill than you are, any given Sunday, people. You know, that's how that goes, is that you never know who's going to win. And even if you do win, you walk away a loser. For instance, I got into a fight in my early 20s, and I won. Like, undeniably. I beat this guy physically. But he punched me in the face. He got one shot in my face, and that shot severed a nerve to my teeth. And my 3 front teeth to the left side, so the 3 from the center point there, feel different than the rest of my teeth. There's 3 sets of nerves that go to a given set of teeth. I've had the opportunity to look at this because, well, this happened to me.
Right.
And, I won, but I didn't walk away. I don't have the greatest feeling about that fight. If I could undo that fight and let him win and not have my teeth, nerve to my teeth severed, I'd do that.
Understandable.
So...
And, I mean, gun ownership eliminates all of those risks. I mean, you still have to worry about the cops.
It mitigates all of those risks.
Yeah. Sorry. But you still have to worry about the cops showing up and shooting you or whatever, because that's what the cops do. But other than that, I mean, the person who is aggressing against you in that particular moment is going to be stopped.
And also, it's worth pointing out that the terrorist who did this hoped for and predicted gun grabbing in New Zealand.
Well, yeah, but they hoped for and predicted a lot of things, a lot of which was internally contradictory. I don't know.
They're certainly not a crazy person, but, the politicians are doing what the crazy person wanted, at the very least.
And that should concern us people who aren't crazy. I mean, the politicians, easily manipulated that they may be, they should not allow themselves to be so easily manipulated by a person who is crazy. Dangerously unhinged.
If somebody gets knifed in London, you can't do anything. You can't sue the politicians for the fact that they disarmed you. Victim disarmament laws. I mean, working for the government means you never have to say you're sorry. Yeah. And England's a good example. I mean, here you have an island where, they can. I think that they successfully restricted guns in England. There's not that many people with them any longer.
Right, but it does have to be an island or some sort of prison-like environment where you actually can have pretty extensive control over what is entering and what isn't.
But it's also not something that's going to happen overnight. So what's it like from now until then. How, I mean, there's at this point, I haven't even gotten to it at this point, but it's estimated that 250,000 people own the recently banned semi-automatic weapons in New Zealand. Estimates show that 250 gun owners who were turned into criminals overnight by the government own around 300,000. Did I say 250? I meant 250,000. Around 300,000 firearms. Since the government attempted to disarm these 250,000 people, only 530 guns have been turned in. Not 530 people have turned in guns, but 530 guns have been turned in out of the at least 250,000 guns that are out there. Now, this is I
like those numbers.
Laughably small amount. And
I like to pretend that a good chunk of those were either broken guns somebody was trying to get rid of for legal reasons, and or somebody who had 10 guns and turned one in to look good.
Now, did the state reimburse people for their property? I know it generally doesn't.
That is really the issue. The government officials are attributing the lack of gun turn-ins to citizens wanting to be properly compensated for their weapons. However, the complexity of this situation is likely far different. So we got a quote here from Nicole McKee, Secretary of the Council of Licensed Firearm Owners. And I don't know if that's government or just like an NRA knockoff. If they're being serious about their considerations and ensuring that there is fair and reasonable compensation, then firearm owners will wait a bit longer to make sure it is just and it is fair when it is received.
Well, how do you actually compensate someone for their ability to defend themselves? I mean, that's just not about money.
I think they were talking about
guns.
Compensating for the gun itself.
Yeah, the rifle.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is the larger issue they cannot be compensated for.
Clearly not.
They can be
They don't care anything about a right. They're governments. That's what their business is. Their business is taking away rights. That's they stated.
That's what they do when you give them your guns.
Right off, right? Like they say, we're civilization. You give up rights in order to be part of us. Now, they have no proof that they're civilization.
They're uncivilized.
In the U.S., they've disclaimed that a couple of times at the federal Supreme Court level.
That they're civilization?
That they have any duty to protect you.
Yeah, they don't have any duty to protect you, no doubt. They've been very clear on that in the Supreme Court. I don't know about the New Zealand Supreme Court.
855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-FREE. Talk about whatever you'd like.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000. 859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
I believe the crypto winter is over. That, if true, means that crypto prices may be on the rise and more news will be on the horizon. Get the latest and freshest crypto news at news.bitcoin.com. They have a real staff that does real reporting, not the rehashed stuff you're getting from most crypto news outlets. I am proud and happy to say that news.bitcoin.com is my first stop for all news crypto related. News.bitcoin.com. Don't forget that you can get a free Bitcoin Cash wallet and free Bitcoin Cash at free.bitcoin.com. Free crypto at free.bitcoin.com. I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Live video of our key New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Call in, tell us whatever's on your mind. That number's 855-450-3733. Or you can use the Discord call-in lines, which you can find at discord.freetalklive.com. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Melanie,
and Mark.
And we've been talking about New Zealand and the overwhelming failure of their government to disarm their people. Apparently, there are somewhere around 300,000 of these newly banned semi-automatic rifles in the country of New Zealand, while only about 530 of them were actually turned in accordance with this new law.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
I think that's a great thing. I think it's a good idea for people to be more sober, not to get worked into these panic states. Okay, so Jim down the street is an arsonist. Let's ban him from having matches. I don't necessarily agree, but I don't disagree either.
But that's same.
Me giving up my matches is not going to help that situation because I am not an arsonist.
Just because there are rapists in the world doesn't mean that I need my genitals removed. Okay?
There we go.
It just doesn't make it makes no sense. Now, I can, again, I'm a convicted felon, and when people talk about felons and weapons ownerships and things like that, I don't talk about rights in that circumstance. I try to avoid the terminology of rights. I look at it from a very utilitarian standpoint. I do believe that somebody that you release from prison and you're no longer providing 24-hour security for, because that's what prison is.
Certainly.
That you then that they then have the right to defend themselves, and certainly their family members have the right to defend themselves. And if you live in one of these states where they make it difficult for somebody to be in the very presence of a gun or something, that makes things difficult. Here in New Hampshire, there's a ruling that says that they cannot deprive everybody in the household from having a firearm simply because one person is deprived by a federal ruling.
It's scary that any states would attempt such a broad ruling. I mean,
nobody likes convicts.
I guess. But I mean, that's a really myopic way to view the world, especially considering how easy it is to get a felony on your record.
Sure.
I'm lucky enough to not have one, despite all of these stupid things I've done.
The silliness of outlawing somebody from possessing a gun, because of a conviction, I get on the face why people would choose to do it. But in the, the long and the short of it is that they can get a gun. So if they choose to obey your law, then they're the good guy ex-convicts, right? Like, we're all going to agree there are ex-convicts that do not want to go back to prison and are not going to commit more crimes. Right? If you don't agree that that's the case, then you never wanted then the whole idea of prison makes no sense. You should just kill everybody.
I don't agree that there's people who aren't going to commit more crimes, at least if they are physically located within the United States.
Okay, well, I'm talking about violent crimes that normal people who've been listening to the radio might view
right,
as
but a lot
crime.
of those are felonies.
Sure. So the reality, let's call it a violent crime then, just for the sake of it. Most people would be like, oh, well, check kiting or whatever. So mostly a violent felony is not something that you just kind of slip on into.
Yeah, so if it's violent and a felony, you probably, and I mean probably literally, I don't mean 90%, did something wrong at some point.
Yeah. Well, it's possible. You could be... you could have been falsely convicted or a variety of things. But anyhow, if it's a violent felony, then you have to, you ask yourself, well, does it seem like a good idea of letting a person like that have a gun? It doesn't. It sounds like a really awful idea. But you need to take more than 45 seconds to think about it. Because a person who has committed a violent felony either is going to get out and act good, in which case them having a gun really shouldn't be a problem, or they're going to act bad, in which case your law, they just walk through like a piece of tissue paper. They're going to get the gun. I could get a gun today. I could get a gun in the next 2 hours if I wanted to.
Sometimes it takes longer than that at the store, so doesn't invoke a lot of faith in the system.
Right.
No, it's certainly all about what people want. It's not the fact that murder is illegal that keeps me from murdering people.
Right.
It's that I don't want to murder people. So it doesn't really matter to me whether there is a law against it or not, or what the law has to say about it. I have made this decision to do a thing or to not do a thing, and the legality of it does. I don't want to share a society with people who only refrain from raping, killing, and torturing because some authority figure told them, hey, that's not a nice thing to do to people, and we're going to punish you if you do it.
Yeah, and that guy, what is his name? He's one of the Tiger Trapeze guys.
Tiger Trapeze?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I know anything about Tiger Trapeze.
He's in the 101 Reasons video. What?
A lion tamer?
No, he's one of the two performers. I'm not going to remember his name, but he's in the 101 Reasons to Move to New Hampshire video.
Okay.
And he has a quote about murdering, raping, and robbing as much as he wants.
Pendulette.
Pendulette. But
what does he have to do with trapeze?
The Tiger Trapeze guy?
Hold on. Two performer guys.
He is, but I don't.
Yeah.
They're magicians.
Yeah, but
they're not Siegfried and Roy.
Okay.
Okay.
Then I'm just really wrong.
All right. Well,
but he has
you got me there though.
But he has a quote about he
rapes, murders, and kills at the rate that he wishes to, which is to say 0.
And he says it about believing in God, but I think that equally applies to government. If that's the reason why you're not doing those things, we got a serious problem.
Absolutely. That's a breakdown of the fundamental human morality right there, or the fundamental human fiber, whatever we wish to characterize it as. And no law is going to change that. That's a breakdown in their brain chemistry that causes them to be even willing to make those sorts of immoral, aggressive acts in the first place. Those incompassionate acts is how I would characterize them. Those unempathic ones where they deny the humanity of another person. That has to have already happened.
Well, it's well beyond not having empathy. You could just not help somebody and not have empathy. Going on a killing spree is kind of 100 steps past that.
We have many millennia of what we would call modern humans, at least let's call it 200,000. And we don't have the greatest history in respecting rights or sovereignty inside of that period of time. We're just now getting to the point that we largely respect sort of people's rights and sovereignty.
Just barely.
Just barely. Well, we exempt people who wear badges and silly hats from this set of rules, but largely we operate as a society that way. And then we're like, oh, well, the politicians are a bunch of crooks, but we have to have them to write laws down, because if we're not a nation of laws written by crooks, then what are we? We're just, it's anarchy. And you thank the cops, because if you don't like the cops, call a crack addict. I mean, I don't even know what this mixed up set of reasoning is, but...
cops should be better. That call a crack addict is just such an obviously low comparison point.
Crackheads have a better incentive structure than cops.
Well, I'm not...
I'll give you some crack.
I've called cops, and I've been reasonably happy with the results. I've called cops, and I've been unhappy with the results. But my recourse is always the same. Basically nothing.
855-450-3733. Once again, that's 855-450-FREE. Or use the Discord call-in lines, which you can find at discord.freetalklive.com.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video or audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute.
Whoa!
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
That's right. This is Free Talk Live. Call in and tell us whatever's on your mind. 855-450-FREE as in freedom. Again, that's 855-450-3733. With you today, it's Aria,
Melanie,
and Mark. You don't have to have listened to Free Talk Live for very long, especially LRN.FM, to have heard me talk about My Magic Mud. I really, really love My Magic Mud. My Magic Mud is a black tooth powder made of charcoalized coconut shells and bentonite clay. And I know how strange that sounds. But these are very natural things. You're not talking like, look at the, if you think that sounds strange, take a little look at the back of your toothpaste. Ask yourself,
fair point.
Why can I not swallow the contents of this toothpaste? And the answer is because it contains things that are toxic to you if you choose to swallow enough of it, right? Like fluoride is a poison, whereas My Magic Mud contains none. I'm not saying that fluoride isn't good for your teeth. I get fluoride treatments. I just understand that My Magic Mud is made of all natural things that are safe. When I brush with My Magic Mud, sometimes I choose to swallow it because it's completely safe. They have these charcoal pills that they'll give you in like foreign countries if your tummy's upset or whatever, which just goes to say that charcoal's, there's nothing wrong with it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth. I know it has whitened mine. I've watched it happen. You use it 4 days in a row, you're going to find your teeth are as white as normal folks. Or as white as they're supposed to be. They're whitened, as it were. And it's available at basically most major health food stores, Sprouts, CVS, Natural Grocers, and Walmart's Natural Beauty aisle. However, you can get 20% off of My Magic Mud by going to mymagicmud.com. What a surprise. They got some great promotional videos there to tell you a little bit more about the company. Jessica Armand, her family put it together, and it's it's a family-run company. She made it at her house to help her kids who had some dental problems and allergies and that kind of thing. But go to mymagicmud.com, use coupon code FTL20 and get 20% off. mymagicmud.com. FTL20, 20% off. If you only listen to one thing I ever say on Free Talk Live, and I understand I've got some opinions that may not fly with you, but My Magic Mud will improve your oral health. You will be happy that you got it. mymagicmud.com, coupon code FTL.
What does it taste like?
Nothing. They do have mint versions, which add a flavor to it. Personally, I don't need a flavor in order to be satisfied. The less flavor there is, the better it is. It's not even particularly gritty or anything.
That is so fascinating.
Yep. I'm surprised you didn't get a package of it. We had it here for some time. So you don't have any?
I do not.
I guess I'll have to get you one.
Oh, that would be great, I suppose. Let's go to the phones.
You'll have whiter teeth.
We've got Wendy calling in. Wendy, you are on Free Talk Live.
Hi, Mark.
Yes, Wendy.
I was wondering when you were unhappy with when you called the cops, the guys with funny hats that we allowed to carry guns, and why you were unhappy with them.
Why am I unhappy with the police?
When you've said you've called cops.
Oh, I see. When I've called police.
With funny hats and guns that Aria calls pigs and says all should be shot.
Is this James from Arizona
like
calling?
I think you should be shot in the head.
Well, it's dumped. Yeah. Thanks for the effort. Not a bad falsetto, yeah. I would say.
That was James Whittekind, who has called in multiple times and threatened my family. And
total psychopath.
I called the police. He for the first time ever called me from a place that I could track. Right, so I got a caller ID on my phone from, I think, the Best Western of Tempe. I don't mean to besmirch the good folks of the Best Westerns around the nation, providing all the wonderful services that they do. But since I have his phone blocked, he has to call me from other places. He chooses to call me from other places because he cannot call me from his own phone. And so I'm like, well, seize upon the opportunity, because the police don't want to do police work generally. When I've called them before, they've told me to pound salt. And
what does that mean?
Sorry, can't help you.
Okay.
So in this circumstance, I had a who, I had a what, and I had a where, and I had a when. And that allowed me to put it all together. So they sent a cop over there, chit-chatted with James for a little while. The cop chose not to make an arrest in that circumstance, even though James clearly said that he was going to harm my mother, harm my wife, and harm my child. Mind you, the insults, the vitriol, the tone of voice in this, all of this was available to law enforcement. Why they chose not to make an arrest is beyond me. Why Ben Shapiro has somebody who's arrested that makes threats against him and his family, but Mark Edge, when it happens there, I don't know the answer. Like, I have no idea why law enforcement chose to act on threats on Ben Shapiro's family, who's another talk show host, and not mine.
I don't either. The threats sounded real. They didn't sound like they were a joke. It sounded like he was being serious.
And I can give that audio to you here during the break, and then you can edit out the if there's any. I don't know if there's any profanities. I didn't listen for that, but I couldn't take a risk here on just playing it on the air raw.
I also want to put out that I don't think that you can both choose to be a monopoly that's enforcing your monopoly with force, not just what I'm going to call a natural monopoly and you're just best and nobody else tries. But if you create a monopoly by force, you can't then complain that people use your product even though they don't like you. So if it is illegal to do a thing by yourself, and it is illegal to deal with those kind of situations on your own, and it is illegal for a competing firm to set up and say, we'll take care of all the murderers and people who make death threats, because then they would be arrested.
Yeah,
so you can't then turn around and complain and be like, oh, well, if you hate me so much, why did you call me? Because you made me.
Yeah, I imagine that when they actually sat down and started talking to James, they were like, okay, this is an alcoholic with a DUI of several, I'm going to say 5 DUIs, simply because I know it's not 5, and I know it agitates him that people say it's higher than it is. So 5 DUIs?
I don't really know what's going on there. He is really adamant that he had not had 3 DUIs, is what we said here on the air. And I can only presume that somebody who's this adamant is telling the truth. However, it really looked like the internet was saying that he had that many DUIs, and if he didn't, I certainly apologize for that. However,
I won't. I'll say he had 30. He had 30 DUIs.
Yeah.
James Whittaker.
I doubt I ever said it. It was probably Ian who looked it up.
It might be arrests versus convictions. It might be expungements. I mean, knowing the kind of ridiculous technicalities he tries to use.
Really? Because, I've seen the Facebook page and I've looked at some of the videos and all of that, but I just don't have an hour to sit there watching them. He also tried to lawyer his way out of these directly.
Right. He says.
No, I don't. With the DUIs, no. But based on his behavior on other topics, that would not surprise me in the least.
Truly a dangerously insane and stupid individual. It's amazing to me that the cops did nothing about it, considering he made threats.
His diction doesn't suggest he's stupid. He doesn't sound drunk when he's calling in, even though he's had, at the very least, at some point, had some kind of alcohol abuse problem. I don't know. I mean, if you're trying to get him to come after you, don't worry, he'll spend time. But see, the thing
he came after me before I ever even knew who he was.
The thing is he comes after me because he knows that I don't want him to. Yeah. I don't want him to make threats against my wife, my child, and my mother. So he's like, whoopee! I found somebody who finally listened to me, whereas Ian wants threats. You want threats. So,
I don't know if I would go that far, but
you're just not scared, right? Like, and I'm not scared, but I can't protect my son every second of the day. And this guy has talked about my house, setting my house on fire and locking the doors and, keeping my family. This is like he obsesses on how he would go about killing my child. And I find somebody like that, frightening.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale. Totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
Extendivite really works. Just listen to what some people have to say.
About 6 months ago, my wife bought Extendivite. She didn't tell me she was giving it to me. So after about 3 days, I said, maybe the weather's changed or something. I said, my legs feel really good. And she goes, well, I've been giving you this stuff, and it was the Extendivite. And you know that I'm about 75% better. I can actually climb stairs now, and I can get up out of chairs. I can even get down and, I got to work under a table or a computer table and work on a computer. I can actually get back up off the floor. You know what? It's an amazing product. I didn't think anything short of having surgery was going to help.
Extendivite is only $69.95 for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid. Call now. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it.
Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Talk radio you control. Take control of the airways. Tell us whatever is on your mind. That number is 855-450-FREE as in freedom. Again, that's 855-450-FREE, 3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
Melanie.
And Mark.
And we've been talking about New Zealand. Well, actually, before we get back into the discussion about New Zealand, you want to bring us back in what we were just discussing?
Well, with James, regarding James Whittakind, who called in the last segment, and he, he's angry about stuff. And I suspect he was angry about things before he ever called Free Talk Live, but he's now angry about stuff. And finally, he gave me the opportunity. He made a threatening call. I knew where he was geographically. I sent the law over there to handle it. They decided, well, even though he threatened to harm your mother, wife, and child in basically the same sentence, that's not good enough, and we're not going to make an arrest. Now, you've heard the audio, at least part of the audio at this point. We're trying to make
I heard
an
it
edit.
all last Monday. I mean, I was here when he left it.
Right. And so he has no problem dropping, profanities on my he has to call me from different numbers, but, my number's out there. He knows where it is. He can find it. You could find it too if you wanted to. You're not going to make friends with me by just ringing me up to chit-chat, though, I can assure you. So anyway, we have to edit the audio. If you want to hear that, you're going to have to wait till the next segment in order to do that because, well, we don't have some kind of audio staff that's going to take care of that. But I want to tell you about
Well, we do, but she's talking on the air.
Right. I got local.bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com has launched its trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposits, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and to use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com. For those of you who don't know, this is just one of the biggest things to hit cryptocurrency. I think it's going to be very meaningful for the adoption of Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com.
I love it. I'm thrilled to death that they created it, and so far I'm extremely happy. It puts localbitcoins.com to shame.
How so?
It's got such a better user interface. It's so much more sleek, so much more modern and easy to use and user-friendly. You could almost see it being an app. It's that level of user-friendly, whereas local Bitcoin, attempting to do it from mobile, is a nightmare. It's possible, sure, but you always have the sense that you are using a mobile browser to do something that you should be using a computer to do. Let's go to the phones. We've got Sarah from New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes, I just want to say that, our drivers here in the last 2 weeks, they have stopped running the red light. It's just wonderful.
Is this a result of your adamant activism?
Well, I have no idea, but what I noticed is that, so I'm a pedestrian, so when I have that walk signal, when I get the green light, I usually have to, pay attention to the red light violator. There's always,
it's always a good idea.
I would agree that before you walk into the street, you should make sure that traffic has stopped.
Right, because all the laws in the world don't stop 5,000 pounds of screaming death.
But what I'm saying is that stop in the last two weeks. That's what I'm saying. It has always been they were running the red light, but since our city passed that new law where you charge the insurance companies for big accidents, and that did it. So if they T-bone and it costs over $1,500, they charge your insurance company, and then your rates go up. So you wind up paying out.
That's how insurance always worked.
Well, yeah. The more accidents you have, the more that has to pay out for you, your rates go up, right? So if you cause an accident, it was your fault, or that it costs a lot of money, your rates go up. You're right. So,
okay.
But here in New Mexico, the thing is, our rates are really high. I talked to a lady today. She told me she pays about $500 a month in car insurance.
Wow.
Because they're also
I hear they also have gambling problems in the state next door to you.
I don't know about that, but the thing is that
insurance is gambling.
Motorists. So is that how it works? You have to wind up paying out for the uninsured motorist. You get into a wreck and they're uninsured, your insurance companies wind up covering some of their fees because 1/3 of our drivers have no car insurance.
Is it a legal requirement in New Mexico?
It's a legal requirement in every state except New Hampshire.
Okay.
Well, I think it's supposed to be a law, but there's 1/3 of the drivers that are breaking it. And my thing is, if you have no insurance, you have no money, then ride the bus like I do and walk.
So what do you propose for people to do?
So if you have no insurance and no money, what you need to do is not have to have a job, but you have to be there at a certain time because that'll solve that problem.
Or just don't drive.
To work. Like, that's how you understand that's how you get to work. You get to work by getting in a car and driving it to work.
Right, but if you cause a wreck, there's no insurance companies to charge you, and you have no money to pay.
Okay, so these people are not obeying the law that requires them to have insurance. So what do you suggest we do about the problem?
Well, it's going to be ride the bus and walk. Keep your heart.
How are you going to make these people stop driving their cars without insurance?
You know what? It's amazing. I have no. If I could, suspend their car license. Their license is no good unless you give them like 3 months to get a.
I think that pretty much is how it works. And 49 states in the union, I believe, require car insurance. New Hampshire being the only one that doesn't. They require crappy car insurance that's basically worthless, but they call it PIP in Florida. I think personal injuries, something. It's not very much, but, it'll help if you ever get hospitalized, I guess.
In Louisiana, if I didn't pay my insurance that month, the insurance company was legally required to tell the state, and the state would cancel my driver's license, would cancel my license plate. So not only was I illegal to be driving, my car was now not street legal. Do they notify you of this? Absolutely not. But the car still starts. You get notified if you ever get pulled over and they run your plates and they arrest you, but they don't send you a letter. So, but the car still starts. So that doesn't actually solve now you're just twice as illegal.
Well, that's only for people that used to have car insurance. You don't pay it, and then they don't. What if you never had car insurance in the first place? There's no company that's going to notify the state.
You can't register the car if you didn't have car insurance in the first place.
Maybe they stole someone else's registration. Sarah, are you trying to send these people to life in prison? Just keep stacking on charges until they finally are sentenced to life for the terrible crime of driving without insurance? I appreciate the call, Sarah. Welcome to call back tomorrow night. I just don't see the point of making it double illegal or triple illegal. People are violating the law, as we were talking about in regard to gun control. The kinds of people who are going to do something that is illegal are not going to cease doing it because you make it super illegal.
Doesn't seem like it. No, it doesn't. It doesn't seem to matter what the punishment is. Some people are just going to do it.
You sentence somebody to life in prison. Okay. You also sentence people to 10 life sentences. What is the point of all of this?
I've seen appeal cases where they argued the issue of whether the life sentences were consecutive or concurrent.
Welcome to America.
Is insane.
Yeah, the state is absolutely insane. That's the most insane thing I've ever heard. Now, do they not quantify this? Because it seems to me like if you give somebody a life sentence, you have to actually quantify it, right?
No.
What do you mean?
You don't have to. Some places do. You don't have to.
A life sentence.
Life sentence is just life.
It would just be a colloquialism for what is actually a 60-year sentence or a 70-year sentence.
No, because they also have effective life, which is more of just a
if you're 80 years old and they sentence you to 50 years.
Well, that, and also they have guys in Angola doing or not doing because they're not going to do it, but sentenced to. I think the max guy in there was 2,500 years.
Wow.
And so they have people that they classify as effective life, but then life sentences, or it's just literally you don't get out.
It means you're going to die in prison. Not something I'm fond of as far as sentencing goes. 855-450-FREE. Do you disagree? Be sure to call us and let us know. That's 855-450-3733.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA? or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance. You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits at mypatriotsupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at mypatriotsupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. mypatriotsupply.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,328. Silver at $14.69, and Bitcoin is trading around $8,007. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, in a move that immediately sparked concerns among antitrust advocates, weapons manufacturer Raytheon and aerospace giant United Technologies agreed Sunday to a $120 billion merger that was described as one of the largest ever combinations of two defense contractors. The anti-media reports the merger, if approved by the government and the two companies' shareholders, would create what the Washington Post described as a military-industrial behemoth, with the power to rival Lockheed Martin, the world's largest defense contractor. On Twitter, antitrust advocate Daniel Hanley said the United Technologies and Raytheon merger should be dead on arrival. In an interview on CNBC Monday, President Donald Trump, otherwise a fan of large weapons companies, also expressed concern about the proposed merger. Matt Stoller, fellow at the nonprofit Open Markets Institute, said Trump is correct to raise anti-competition concerns over the proposed merger, while expressing skepticism that the president will hold to that position. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A bipartisan move to block U.S. President Donald Trump from circumventing a long-standing precedent that allows lawmakers to review major weapons sales is underway. Two senators, Republican Todd Young and Democrat Chris Murphy, both of whom sit on the Foreign Relations Committee, are planning to introduce a bill designed to force a vote on current and future U.S. arms sales and other military support to Saudi Arabia. The Anti-Media reports the bill appears to be the first in a series of proposed resolutions announced last week that would require votes on each of the arms sales that make up the $8.1 billion weapons package to Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Jordan, which was announced by the Trump administration in May. Trump circumvented Congress by declaring a national emergency on the grounds of a security threat from Iran. He swept aside objections from U.S. lawmakers to complete the sale of arms to his Gulf allies and instigated a tug of war over who has the final say in such matters. On May 29th, the Louisiana House unanimously voted to have the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality and the Department of Health study the effects of 5G technology on the environment and public health. The Conscious Resistance reports the Louisiana legislature passed House Resolution 145 with a vote of 103 in favor and 0 representatives voting against the measure. The bill calls for the results of the study to be submitted to the Louisiana House Committee on Natural Resources and Environment, as well as the House Committee on Health and Welfare, no later than 60 days prior to the start of the 2020 regular session of the Louisiana legislature. 5G, or fifth-generation cellular technology, is the name for the latest telecom technology upgrade. There have been a number of health and privacy concerns raised by opponents of the rapidly advancing 5G expansion. Louisiana becomes the first state to call for their own independent study of the technology. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A new Gallup poll found that the GOP has an overwhelming advantage among young people who look like old men. The poll shows Republicans hold a solid lead among the coveted elderly youth demographic, including 18 to 24-year-olds who wear suspenders and bow ties to class every day. I'm joined by Republican strategist Rob Powell. These are pretty encouraging numbers for the GOP, aren't they?
Of course, it's very encouraging. Millennials who look like they're permanently dressed for boat trips are a rapidly growing segment of the population.
And according to the survey, the prematurely aged are also very politically active.
Absolutely. Only about 20% of young people vote overall, but there's almost 100% turnout among youth that dress like a dad from a 1950s sitcom.
Now, what about the criticism that the GOP only appeals to white men?
Not true. We also have a lot of support among sorority girls that wear pantsuits and pearls, paunchy Chinese college students, and we're making inroads among African American ham radio enthusiasts.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Take control of the airways. The number is 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Melanie,
and Mark.
And as promised, we've got the clip here, the lunatic voicemail that was left by James Whittakind.
Self-described lunatic.
Yeah, well, he is probably the most honest thing he's ever said. So I'm not going to waste any time. Let's go directly to that.
This message is for the luckiest man to be alive in Keene, New Hampshire. You're going to repent, atone, profusely apologize, and pay me for doxing me.
It used to be just apology. Hold on. Yeah, you got to get ready for pausing on this. I'm not going to just let this ramble on without commentary. I can assure you.
Well, okay, but I wasn't expecting it, so I just quickly hit space, which stopped it.
We'll figure that out.
It didn't pause it.
So now this pay me thing is new. Because previously it had been like apologize. And I've apologized multiple times. James, I'm sorry for whatever rambling screed that you're going to send my way, and it requires an apology to stop getting the next one, especially the one where you threaten my family. I'm sorry. So there you go. Apology.
Do you want to offer him a sincere apology?
I don't even... How can I sincerely apologize for... Just listen.
For doxing me, smearing me, accusing me of wanting to murder your wife and child.
I didn't dox him.
He doxed himself, right?
Well, I think that our amplifiers found his information online. I didn't look for it. I don't care. This guy obviously isn't going to come after me. He's been doing this for 5 years.
Well, I don't know about obviously, you know.
He could happen anytime, right? Like he apparently has the life skills to get from Tempe, Arizona to Keene, New Hampshire if he wants to.
Well, there's also the concern of, okay, maybe I'm not crazy enough to schedule a flight just to come do whatever, but if I happen to be here for some reason, I'm still crazy while I'm here. So, I mean, that's also a concern.
That is also a concern because there are a lot of festivals and things like that happening here in New Hampshire that he, being a lunatic, may be inclined just to go to.
And remember, ladies and gentlemen, a law enforcement officer was in the same room with this guy less than a week ago. Having heard all of this audio from start to finish, presumably, or at least been delivered this audio, 2.5 minutes of it, and chose not to arrest this guy. Ask yourself if you're being protected and served under these circumstances.
For doxing me, smearing me, accusing me of wanting to murder your wife and child, calling me races, creating a Facebook page with my name on it, and especially for calling me a liar on the public airwaves.
So, yes, I created a Facebook page with his name on it. It's called Things James Whittakind Says. On that Facebook page, 99% of the things that are written on there are in quotation marks. And there's also some video and some audio, which are his voice saying these things. So it's not like I have done anything. Like this is all
stuff that he said.
It's not reporting. It's just it's quotes. It's things made up. Sometimes I'd put ellipsis in there to sort of get the threats out in a short period of time because I didn't want people to be exposed to this rambling screed. And then I found out that people like the rambling screeds.
Oh yes.
So now I basically leave them in. Whatever. I don't understand what people want to consume on the internet, but this is the kind of crap I get on the regular.
You don't have to understand it. You just have to know it.
And deliver it.
Or this here lunatic is going to hurt your disgusting, contemptible mother, your ugly, ugly, ugly Laura, and especially the luckiest person to be alive. So when you get home tonight,
so
I want to talk.
This is the luckiest person to be alive. You edited all that part out with the part about Jack?
No, we didn't actually get that.
Okay.
I probably would have talked to you about editing that out first, okay. But it just wasn't in the audio file that you gave me, or he hasn't gotten to it yet.
That's weird. Well, anyway, nonetheless, in this little bit here, he did he say is going to hurt your mother, and some insults,
and your wife,
Laura, my wife, and some insults. And then the luckiest person to be alive, which he regularly harps on my son because he knows that bothers me the most. And of course it would, right? Like any father who has their child threatened by some apparently unaccountable lunatic from the internet would be concerned. So go on here. He has an explanation as to his.
I want to talk to him. My name is Jack, and I'm 11 years old. Meditate on this, minister. Your crime victim still can't be reached for comment. But speaking of an eye that you seem to have been endorsing when it came to a Saudi woman having had acid thrown in her face.
That's a comment on something we talked about on the internet because he listens obsessively.
Yeah, he does.
He's a P1.
P1?
Yeah, that's called like a primary listener.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to hurt you as much as you've hurt me, or else, minister. And Ian Bernard can then practice, as he preaches, the art of forgiveness when Free Talk Live is over for good.
Well, killing me isn't going to make Free Talk Live go away. I mean, that's not how this works. Free Talk Live isn't called the Ian and Mark Show for no reason at all. It's called Free Talk Live because we can have other people. I mean, Aria, you're sitting in the first chair tonight. You can run Free Talk Live. You have that capability. You're getting training at this point every single day to run Free Talk Live. So there's going to be a whole bevy of people to kill off here that aren't always in the same room and often are not in the same room. This isn't going to be as easy as you think. Now, will Ian forgive you for killing me? Yes, Ian's just that stupid. Absolutely. But, I mean, is Ian Freeman now the arbiter of what is right and just in the world? Because that's really strange. Now, listen to the victimhood, the absolute centrist view of this guy, James Whittakind, who calls in and makes these. He's like, if you don't do this to me, if you don't, you have harmed me.
I mean, how is this at least not, even if they want to say it's not threats, which is an insane interpretation.
Right, a cop said this isn't a threat.
How is this not blackmail, though, or extortion? Because he's demanding you pay him.
Well, I didn't mention that to the cop, but
that's the cop's job, though. Like, you shouldn't have to be like, here's this audio, and here's the statutes he's violating.
Yeah, well, agreed. But for whatever reason, the law enforcement officer determined that the best course of action was to not arrest this guy. I don't know. I don't know what their choices are. I don't know what their constraints are. All I know is that there's not much I can do. They wouldn't even confirm his address so that I could send him a cease and desist. How am I going to send a cease and desist, ladies and gentlemen, without an address? This person, I told her this is the first time I've ever been able to nail this guy's location down, and she just blew it away. I mean, blew it off or whatever. Like, she made a decision. Whatever that decision was the decision she made. I don't know. I'm going to call it her professional opinion, but I'm a little frustrated.
I can imagine, because it gets worse.
I'm tired of all the bile, hatred, and vitriol, Minister.
Yeah?
You started it on my own brother's birthday on March 27th.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
2014. Speaking of past calls. And I'm going to put an end to you.
I'm going to put an end to you.
Grotesque ministry as you know it, if you don't do as I ask, Minister.
I mean, that is so obviously extortion, threats, literal terrorism, attempts to use threats of violence in order to cause someone to behave a certain way. Absolute nutcase. I don't know what else to say about him. Of course, the clip here does go on for a little bit longer, but it's more just that kind of rambling, incoherent nonsense.
Maybe I'm sure he mentioned to the police officer that I am a felon. And maybe
I'm sure he did.
Felt that was, well, this is just felon business or something. I don't know. I have no idea.
This is just felon business, so we don't have to. Regular laws don't apply. It's felon business.
Just felons being felons.
I can't speak to it. How do I step out of this world of felonry? I mean, is it possible now that I'm in? I'm just in forever? It's like some kind of blood bond with the Yakuza Mafia?
855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733.
I'm obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com. I believe the crypto winter is over. That, if true, means that crypto prices may be on the rise and more news will be on the horizon. Get the latest and freshest crypto news at news.bitcoin.com. They have a real staff that does real reporting, not the rehash stuff you're getting from most crypto news outlets. I am proud and happy to say that news.bitcoin.com is my first stop for all news crypto related. News.bitcoin.com. Don't forget that you can get a free Bitcoin Cash wallet and free Bitcoin Cash at free.bitcoin.com. Free crypto at free.bitcoin.com.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you. Would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Take control of the airways. Tell us whatever is on your mind. That's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom, 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
Melanie.
And Mark. Oh, sorry.
And Mark. There I am.
Somehow missed number 2.
Yeah.
That's why we really do this, just to make sure everything works.
we gotta test these. We gotta test the audio somehow. Speaking of testing audio, I will be at Freedom Fest, and we will be doing, Ian is testing the audio equipment as we speak for the multiple events that we're headed off to, but we're going to be doing Free Talk Live from the world's largest liberty-oriented gathering the world's largest oriented gathering in the world? I don't know. Freedom Fest theme this year is the Wild West. That much I know. I've got my costume ready to go. And they're going to have Penn Jillette, Lenore Skenazy, Glenn Beck, Candace Owen, John Mackey, Kevin O'Leary, and Kevin Harrington of Shark Tank, Stephen Moore. The list is growing all the time. All you have to do is go check them out. I've got a website here for you. It's freedomfest.com/FTL. If you use coupon code FTL50, you get a $50 discount. That's freedomfest.com/FTL. Please go get your ticket now. Love to see you there. Coupon code FTL50. And if you need a little more convincing, they have the 5 best speeches from last year right there at freedomfest.com/FTL. It's Judge Napolitano, Alan Dershowitz, Charlie Kirk, Heather McDonald, John Mackey, all of it for free. You'll get the all the who, what, where, when, why, but it's July the 17th through the 20th at the Paris in Paradise, which is the name of the strip, basically, in Las Vegas. So, yeah, Las Vegas. Who doesn't like that? Besides Freedom Fest, there's all kinds of wonderful other things to do. It's freedomfest.com/FTL. Would love to see you there.
Definitely. Well, let's get back to just a little bit more of James' lunatic ramblings to make you suffer through.
I guess as a talk show host, you're supposed to ask questions to your audience, especially if you got a call in here. And I guess my question to the audience is, what do I do about this? The police have told me twice in Arizona and twice in Keene, there's nothing we can do. Now, in one case, the police actually had this guy in the same room asking questions, and I don't know what to do about this at this point, and if I do anything at all. Far, over the course of 5 years, he's ramped up his threats over time, and I've done basically nothing, or little to nothing, and now he finally got what he wanted. He said he wanted the cops to visit him. Oh, here you go.
Success.
Congratulations. There you go.
That's not that difficult. You didn't need Mark's help for 5 years. You could have done that by yourself.
He asked for it, and then he got angry that by the way, I have another bit of audio that's following this up.
Well, didn't the cops visit him on one of his 9 DUIs?
I don't know. I would presume. That's probably how he ended up in jail.
Well, they usually stop you in the car for that. I don't know if he counts that as a visit.
He went to jail.
He visited them.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back to his lunacy.
If only I had a Bitcoin for every time so-called ministers of peace and love and liberty accused me.
If only I had a Bitcoin for every time this guy said so-called.
Yeah, on the so-called Discord app.
So-called minister, so-called whatever.
And that's a weird way to phrase that, because a Bitcoin is a lot of money. It's like if something happened once and I had a Bitcoin, or if something happened once a year and I had a Bitcoin every time, I mean, I'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
I would be happy.
Right. If I had a Bitcoin for every time my town had a 4th of July parade.
I mean, if I just had a Bitcoin, that'd be cool, you know?
Well, apparently he wants one for every time that some obscure thing has happened.
Let's find out what it is.
Like for a cudgel.
What was that?
3 do.
He said sometime.
And liberty.
I will have to back it up a little bit because we kind of talked over him there at the end.
If only I had a Bitcoin for every time so-called ministers of peace and love and liberty accused me of, like for a cudgel. Did I have 3 Deweys?
That's not an accusation.
I've only spent 3 days in jail in Arizona. A minister and
That
never
actually
hurt
comports
anyone.
with 3 DUIs.
What happened?
If you spend a night in jail for everyone, and he spent 3 days in jail.
Well, as I understand it, he's got 14
that
DUIs.
I don't know. I presume a man that gets so angry about it being said that he has 3 DUIs probably doesn't have 3 DUIs. I would say that the problem is the internet reporting that he has 3 DUIs and us being able to look it up. If he hadn't have been threatening and weird and obsessive and all these things, we would have never bothered looking this guy up. But at some point, you have to look somebody up. Like, this guy just threatened to harm, that's a quote, my mother, my wife, and my child. What kind of person doesn't look up somebody like that? I mean, what kind of irresponsible, girly man would... Really sorry. Would allow this to happen? I just don't even understand. I mean, what kind of useless human flesh does this guy think I am that I'm not going to look up somebody who's threatening to harm his family? Now, I would say that we probably looked him up before the actual threats of harm were fully verbalized, because he slowly worked his way up to him. And by the way, when the cop comes into the room and then he begins shaking in his boots, he's like, oh, I wasn't actually talking about harming his mother. I was talking about harming her with words, that I was going to tell her things that were going to make her feel bad about her son and stuff.
As if your mother doesn't know that you have a radio show
and could
spent
listen.
How many years in jail, whatever it is that he thinks she doesn't want to know.
Right. I can't even imagine what he's talking about. If he's not talking about harming when he says harming, right? Like he says harming, and then I'm supposed to presume that he means something else. So if I see him, I'm to presume that harming means he's going to give me a hug or a stern talking to, because that's not what harming means to me. Harming's a word it has a definition in a dictionary. And for whatever reason, the cop didn't seem to think that harming meant harming, as I understand it either. So, I guess I got to give the nod to James on this one, that harming can mean other things. But At what point does a threat become illegal? I mean, how explicit do you have to be? This guy has threatened to take Ian Freeman, my co-host's head, and bash his face against a curb until his teeth are broken out of his mouth. Like, that's almost a quote. And this guy then says he's going to harm my mother. I don't know what conclusion I'm supposed to draw here.
I suspect that it's solely based on the distance involved. They're like, okay, these people are 4,000 miles apart. There is absolutely no...
Have the cops in Arizona never heard of aeroplanes?
Well, they have, but they've also seen James and the extreme unlikeliness that he can afford, a toothbrush, much less a plane ticket.
Well, I don't know anything about this guy other than what he's said in his, his calls, and then the little bit I've been able to look up on the internet.
I've not heard anything from him or about him that would give me faith in his ability to keep a job or afford $5.
He could afford a hotel room in Tempe, Arizona, which means he can afford a Greyhound bus ticket. If he decides to clock out, he might decide to clock out on my family.
You are correct. 855-450-FREE. Let us know what you think Mark should do, because we're sort of out of ways to deal with this problem. 855-450-3733. Or join us on Discord. Use the Discord call-in lines at discord.freetalklive.com to sound like you're almost sitting here in the studio with us.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Let us know whatever is on your mind. 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Melanie,
and Mark.
And we've had Lazio here. Let's go to the phones. Lazio, you are on Free Talk Live. Are you there? Going once. I guess we have lost him.
I hear little noises. Put him on hold.
I already hit the drop button.
All right, well, you can always call back.
Yep.
I want to talk to you about cryptocurrency wire, though. If you're trying to reach the cryptocurrency market, or perhaps you want to spread mass awareness of your crypto technology, either way, you need a communications company that specializes in that field. Leveraging 35 plus different brands, part of the Investor Brand Network, and more than 5,000 downstream distribution partners, Cryptocurrency Wire combines the power of specialization with mass market reach. With their help, you can start connecting with crypto-friendly journalists and more than 1.6 million followers. Their commitment is to get the most eyes possible on your big news while it's fresh. Domestic? How about international? They can reach 56 different countries and also provide translation services. Yeah, well, your company is certainly an important, relevant newsmaker. You need someone still that specializes in the field to get your message heard. CryptocurrencyWire.com. We've used them here on Free Talk Live, and, well, they did everything that they said they were going to do, and they were successful beyond their promises. CryptocurrencyWire.com. That's CryptocurrencyWire.com.
So before we got into the discussion about this particular lunatic with 33 DUIs.
Before we go on with this, I had asked, if anybody has any ideas on how to handle this, and I frankly don't. Aria, I had asked a question during the break, and I can't remember what that question was. I was gonna, say something. I can't remember. Anyway, if James is listening, his concern seems to be that I have up a Facebook page called Things James Wittekine Says.
But isn't the reason you have that Facebook page because he began having an issue with you in the first place?
Yeah, I wanted to document the threats that were going on so that if he ever did anything, at the very least, they can say I documented the threats.
Right.
Because this is important to law people, right, Melanie? What do they call that? Affidavit or something?
Well, it's not affidavit, it's just evidence.
Okay. So the fact that I've got this for 5 years, him going back and making threats and stuff like that, I felt like that was a necessary thing to have.
I would agree.
He seems upset about it now. And I don't know why. It's all quotes of things he said. Apparently he doesn't like the things he said, but fine. If he wants it taken down, I don't need an apology from you. Issue a truce between you and I, vow not to contact me or my family again, and the page will come down. As soon as you break it, it goes back up.
Well, there you go, James. The ball is in your court. Be the man that you pretend to be. But before we got into all of that, we were discussing New Zealand and the failure of the state to confiscate the arms from people who, feel like their defense, their safety is best served by being in their own hands rather than the hands of a government that, at least in the United States, has absolutely no requirement to actually protect you.
Right. And so something bad happened in New Zealand, and now they're going to take away the guns, which is, pardon me, what exactly they want to do in the United States on the regular, right?
Yeah.
But every time there's, something happens, they always want to crack down a little more, a little more, a little more.
It's silencers now, and it's so egregious, this talk of silencers.
Suppressors. Yep, suppressors.
Suppressors.
Right, they want to use the term silencer.
Yeah.
A person who uses the term silencer has never fired a 45 ACP through a suppressor.
Yeah, I know they don't actually silence it. It only knocks like 15 to 20 decibels off of it or something like that. But
it's still going to damage your hearing if you're not wearing ear protection.
It's just such a common argument being put out there right now, seemingly coming out of nowhere, that before Call to Freedom started today, I asked Melanie and Michael whether or not there was some shooting that happened recently that involved a suppressor that I just somehow missed entirely. Because the people are responding to it as though there was such a shooting. I mean, suppressors aren't a problem. They're not being used in any of these shootings that have happened within the last year or so. So why have we just randomly picked this accessory and said, okay, this is the new bump stock?
Well, that accessory is made look dangerous by Hollywood, right?
Sure.
You see a suppressor screwed on a gun, and you know what you're going to hear next, right? Like it's going to be this little sound like a chipmunk farting. Nothing to it. This silent little killer, husband,
yeah, because explosions are always quiet.
Because the husband being shot in the bed next to the wife, she doesn't even roll over. Just he's taken care of, and nobody hears anything. So Hollywood is convinced people who ignoramuses is the best term I can come up with. They are ignorant of this topic, so therefore they are ignoramuses, at least regarding this. That somehow these things are dangerous assassination weapons. And I think it's perfectly viable to have the conversation before it happens. Is somebody going to attempt to have a mass shooting and be carrying a suppressor? I suppose it could happen. I don't know why you'd want to make your handgun unwieldy and basically make it so that that's your only weapon. Because once you have screwed a suppressor on to a big old handgun, it's not like you're going to put it in a holster or anything like that. They don't have holsters for stuff like this that I know of. I've never seen anything like that. So basically you have to run out of ammunition and then throw it down and then go to, a rifle that's on your back that's no longer suppressed. Because they don't have they have, flash suppressors on those, but they're not going to suppress the sound.
Interesting.
And even if they did, it's not going to make it silent. There's just no... Okay, so if you take a subsonic 22 round and run it through a suppressor, let's hope it would penetrate a skull, because I'm not sure it would. But if it would...
I don't know if I want to hope for that.
I don't want to hope anything.
But I understand the sentiment.
If you are using it, then that's what you're hoping for.
Okay, true.
And I think you could probably safely put several rounds into somebody's... You better have a revolver, because if you're attempting to get a semi-automatic handgun to work with a subsonic 22 round that's suppressed, I don't think the action will work. I think you'll jam right off. That's a guess. I don't know everything about this stuff. I have not used a device that is as I am describing it. It's just me guessing from my knowledge. But you could make a revolver, I think, with a suppressor. Maybe one of my gun guys would know better.
I don't know. I like guns. I think they're cool. They're useful tools, but I'm not like a gun enthusiast, So I know enough about guns to not kill myself and to know how to use it when I need that tool. But as far as like reading Field and Stream or whatever, I don't have any idea.
I'm not going to spend my time delving into these things. No, I mean, I'll read a little bit online, but I read a little bit online about just about everything. I'm a jack of all trades and master of none, as it were. That gets me by on the radio.
Hey, whatever works, man. Yeah. So your knowledge of suppressors certainly outstrips mine.
I read Tom Clancy books.
Oh, okay. So it comes from the same sort. Well, Tom Clancy at least is not. He's less hysterical than Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood. Tom Clancy will actually explain these things to you, but the way that he described it, certainly the suppressor, it had the suppressor aspect to it. Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I would expect more for somebody who actually sat down to write a book.
But like I said, if you put a suppressor on a 22 subsonic 22 round, you're going to have a pretty quiet situation going.
Sure.
So
and also a fairly or relatively unassuming one, as you say, it might not actually go through their skull.
You better be in a situation where it's just you and that other person, and you can, you have the freedom to, put a few rounds in them to make sure that the job's done if that's what you're going to do. But, knives are pretty silent, and nobody seems to want to ban those.
Didn't the UK ban knives?
Well, yes. The UK wants to ban knives, but they've banned everything before that, too.
855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733, or use the Discord call-in lines at discord.freetalklive.com.
Are you dealing with overwhelming credit card debt? Then it's time to get rid of it with a mortgage refinance from American Financing. You'll work with a salary-based mortgage consultant, so there's no pressure and no commission. No upfront fees either. I recommend American Financing because they continue to help customers save $1,000 or more each month without resetting their loan term. You may even be able to postpone up to 2 months of mortgage payments, creating an even greater upfront savings. Not a homeowner yet? Mortgage rates have been falling for the last few months, making it a great time to buy. Get started now by calling 888-804-0303. That's 888-804-0303. Or try their new digital mortgage at AmericanFinancing.net. You can download an instant pre-qualified letter, and you can complete the entire mortgage process online anytime, anywhere. 888-804-0303 or AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise at GCNlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Welfare recipient who finds a wet floor.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Melanie,
and Mark.
And we've been having several discussions, but before we get back into any of those, let's go to the phones. We finally got Lazio from New York. Lazio, you're on Free Talk Live. Or you're not. Okay. Well, we also got Gary from Tennessee. Gary, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes, sir. I was listening to your radio about your suppressors.
Right.
Yes.
I just wanted to give you a correction.
Thank you.
Rifles are suppressible.
Okay.
Long guns and AR style platform.
So if you call, it's not just a flash suppressor; it's a regular sort of sound suppressor.
Right.
Okay.
They can have flash suppressors, which all that basically does is kind of help hide the muzzle flash. But you can the barrels. You can purchase them and with a threaded barrel and screw a suppressor on those also.
I really appreciate you calling in and explaining it to me. And I realize I don't know everything about this situation, but I probably know a heck of a lot more than most of the people in the media who are bothering to report on it.
I would definitely.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're correct on ignoramuses.
Gary, thank you so much for the call. It's always nice when somebody calls in to explain something to me, or to you, rather, that
Right.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I think it's very useful. I appreciate that. It's Greg, right?
It was Gary.
Gary, sorry, Gary.
You know, come to think of it, from experiences with Hollywood and, honestly, playing video games, I probably should have known that you could put a suppressor on a rifle.
Yeah, a lot of video games are very realistic as far as
because especially in regard to
others aren't.
sniper rifles in video games, you can almost always find one with a suppressor on it.
Huh. Would it? I would think a suppressor in some way might affect accuracy, but maybe I'm
I would
wrong.
expect it to, yeah. I don't know to what extent it does because I'm not a sniper.
Yeah, I wouldn't be the one to report on that. I should have asked that when Gary was on.
Yeah, good question. Good point. So you've also got something for us to dive into.
Well, you can dive into this this Whopper. Apparently, this is from ny.eater, like as in good eater.com. Apparently, Brooklyn-based Burger King's one has been delivering Whoppers to customers that are expecting a vegetarian Whopper. So the Brooklyn location of the fast food chain Burger King has been advertising that it sells the meat-free Impossible Whopper on Seamless. I don't know what Seamless is. But instead sends customers regular old beef Whoppers. I guess did send customers. I imagine they're not doing it anymore. At least one vegetarian customer didn't realize until after he'd eaten 2 Whoppers, believing that the ad boasting the two burgers that they taste the same.
He might also not remember what beef tastes like.
Or maybe he just recently switched over. And, well, I mean, so I've got a bit of a problem with the notion of if you want to be a vegan is what my theory is. But if you want to experience meat, like, you're not really taking on the whole vegan thing by my understanding of it. Now, yes, I think the world will be a better place when they make a vegetable-based meat substitute that is not discernible from the real thing. And we have to have baby steps in between, somebody slapping a big chunk of onion and beet on a 2 buns and calling it a burger, and then whatever is this Impossible Burger. I get that there's that there's steps along the way, and I understand that, and I'm willing to support it. I will try one of these things when it comes out in order to be supportive.
Now, what confuses me is that Burger King used to have a veggie burger.
Yep.
And it was actually very, very good.
But not beef. And not even discernible as beef.
No, it didn't taste anything like beef. It had its own unique taste, but the taste was actually very good. They appeared to have discontinued that in a quest that I similarly don't understand, to create some non-meat product that tastes like meat.
100% Whopper, 0% beef.
Well, then it's not a Whopper.
Well,
sorry.
I don't know that fine. If they come up with it, I'm down. I think this is more or less, if they were doing it on purpose, this is fraud and reprehensible behavior towards your customers. If they did it on accident, I mean, guys, shape up over there. And
I don't know that I'm going to distinguish between fraud and negligence on an entity that disclaims agency, basically.
So like a corporation. Like nobody's responsible in the case of the corporation.
Or at least a C Corp. Because there's not an actual entity of the C Corp that goes around making decisions and committing actions.
Sure.
So if that's how you've decided to organize yourself, I don't think you then get to turn around and say, oh, well, this wasn't an intentional sentient act. This was only negligence.
Let's go back to the phones. We've got Laszlo one more time calling in from New York. Laszlo, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi, thank you, guys. Thank you, Aria, for taking my call again. I called about 2 weeks ago, and I suggested, as opposed to building the wall, digging the trench.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, this was the idea of building, I think you said up to a 20-mile trench between the U.S. and Mexico in order to, solve problems, right?
Correct. 20 miles wide or 10 miles wide, about 100 feet deep or however deep the tankers needed to be.
And I think I figured out those numbers, which would make that the largest pile of earth on land.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why I called back. 48,000 Mount Everest, somebody said.
Yeah, something like that.
I have the answer to
that.
First of all, New Orleans is below sea level. They could use some dirt.
Well, you're going to fill in all the houses.
I don't know if they're cool with that.
That's funny.
Florida, I think the highest spot is 15 feet above sea level.
It's a little higher than that up towards the Panhandle, but there are certainly counties in which you're speaking of that is
So
true.
let's add 10 feet to that. How's that?
Well, I guess
10 feet to the whole state, right?
Well,
hold on. I'm not sure. Hold on. I'm not sure you've solved the problem. Remember,
created a whole new one.
Yeah, part of your whole scheme here was to lower the sea levels, right?
Right.
Yeah, so if you do that, you are also, by definition, raising Florida's average above sea level, right?
Correct. Right.
So if you move the dirt there, you're just going to compound that problem.
I think you're better off making a whole new island, nation.
I mean,
in
I
the
think if
middle
you
of the
had the
Gulf of
technology
Mexico.
to do this, you might as well just make a new planet.
That was my third. Well, China is building new islands in the South China Sea, correct?
Yep.
Dubai is building man-made islands, correct?
Yep.
They can buy some of our dirt, right? We got plenty of areas to fill in the oceans with.
And we'd have a new canal that we could ship it through.
Here's what I would say. I mean, there will certainly be unintended consequences to this, but if you pick, most of the ocean is uninhabited by creatures. It just, there's not very much there.
Right.
So if you begin dumping out in the middle of, find some scientist to agree this spot is acceptable, right? And then you begin dumping in that spot wherever it is, and then, it makes some kind of island nation at some point or whatever. Remember, this is 48,000 Mount Everests worth of material. Then, then I'm fine with it by that standard. Okay. I think that this project is probably not achievable with today's equipment, but
probably not.
Yeah. Go ahead, Laszlo.
Right. And I was wrong about 2,000 miles of new beachfront property. It's 4,000 miles if you consider each side.
Well, that also
Right.
substantially increases the number of Mount Everests.
No, it doesn't. What he's saying is that if it were 2,000 miles, and I don't know that that's true, Laszlo, but it's probably pretty
it's
close.
1,900 plus.
Okay,
It's
so 1,900
plus.
miles from the point of like San Diego to wherever the bottom of Texas is.
Right.
It'll be oceanfront property on both sides in Mexico and the United States. So he's yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that point had been glossed over last time.
Oh, and I got a real better one. All
Let's
of
hear
that earth could be used for liquid thorium reactors.
What do you need
LFTRs.
sand for that for? I don't understand.
You don't need sand. It's earth. It's in the dirt.
There's enough thorium in the dirt?
I haven't looked into it in 5 years, to be honest with you. But that's the liquid fuel for a small LFTR. They're called lifters for short. LFTR, liquid thorium.
Laszlo, thank you so much for the call. Very fascinating.
He's thinking.
Yeah, he is, and that's good. We need thinkers out there solving these sorts of problems. 855-450-3733. If you think you can solve some problems, 855-450-FREE as in freedom.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA, or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits at mypatriotsupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at mypatriotsupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. mypatriotsupply.com.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS Paris.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,328, silver at $14.69, and Bitcoin is trading around $8,007. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, in a move that immediately sparked concerns among antitrust advocates, weapons manufacturer Raytheon and aerospace giant United Technologies agreed Sunday to a $120 billion merger that was described as one of the largest ever combinations of two defense contractors. The anti-media reports the merger, if approved by the government and the two companies' shareholders, would create what the Washington Post described as a military-industrial behemoth, with the power to rival Lockheed Martin, the world's largest defense contractor. On Twitter, antitrust advocate Daniel Hanley said the United Technologies and Raytheon merger should be dead on arrival. In an interview on CNBC Monday, President Donald Trump, otherwise a fan of large weapons companies, also expressed concern about the proposed merger. Matt Stoller, fellow at the nonprofit Open Markets Institute, said Trump is correct to raise anti-competition concerns over the proposed merger, while expressing skepticism that the president will hold to that position. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A bipartisan move to block U.S. President Donald Trump from circumventing a long-standing precedent that allows lawmakers to review major weapons sales is underway. Two senators, Republican Todd Young and Democrat Chris Murphy, both of whom sit on the Foreign Relations Committee, are planning to introduce a bill designed to force a vote on current and future U.S. arms sales and other military support to Saudi Arabia. The anti-media reports the bill appears to be the first in a series of proposed resolutions announced last week that would require votes on each of the arms sales that make up the $8.1 billion weapons package to Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Jordan, which was announced by the Trump administration in May. Trump circumvented Congress by declaring a national emergency on the grounds of a security threat from Iran. He swept aside objections from U.S. lawmakers to complete the sale of arms to his Gulf allies and instigated a tug-of-war over who has the final say in such matters. On May 29th, the Louisiana House unanimously voted to have the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality and the Department of Health study the effects of 5G technology on the environment and public health. The Conscious Resistance reports the Louisiana legislature passed House Resolution 145 with a vote of 103 in favor and 0 representatives voting against the measure. The bill calls for the results of the study to be submitted to the Louisiana House Committee on Natural Resources and Environment, as well as the House Committee on Health and Welfare, no later than 60 days prior to the start of the 2020 regular session of the Louisiana legislature. 5G, or fifth-generation cellular technology, is the name for the latest telecom technology upgrade. There have been a number of health and privacy concerns raised by opponents of the rapidly advancing 5G expansion. Louisiana becomes the first state to call for their own independent study of the technology. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Delighted health insurance executives gather in an outdoor coliseum to watch a patient battle cancer, and a self-conscious flasher is fully clothed under his trench coat. This is the Onion Week in Review. While stressing that they would absolutely never consider doing anything of the sort, German leaders quietly admitted this week that they were pretty sure they could carry out another Holocaust if they ever truly wanted to, quickly noting that the Holocaust was an atrocity that should never be repeated, no matter how easy it would be to do so. Almost all members of the German parliament discreetly conceded that with their country's dominance of Eurozone GDP, pulling off the unthinkable genocide would not be the least bit difficult.
I'm just saying, hypothetically, that we very easily could do it. I mean, we definitely have the infrastructure, and the concentration camps are still standing.
In other news, a so-called Christian has an erection. A new study finds more children are growing up in single-parent households, and a real-life Nancy Drew traces the source of her HPV.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
That's right. This is Free Talk Live. Talk radio you control. 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
Melanie.
And Mark.
And before let's just dive right back into it, because we were just having a lively discussion with a regular caller about the prospect of digging a extremely massive canal between the United States and Mexico in order to solve the, quote, border problem. And we've got Vern calling in from Tennessee on essentially the same subject. Vern, you are on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, you guys had mentioned, and he did, about pulling all that earth out would basically lower the water levels of the ocean and stuff. But my thing is that if you're just going to move it to another spot in the water, you're just going to offset what you're doing.
Oh, you are entirely correct.
Yes, that much is true. I don't think the gentleman's main concern, you're right, just to make that clear, you are correct. The gentleman's main concern is that somehow we solve, I guess, the border situation by creating more oceanfront property as opposed to solving the ocean's rising problem. I guess that there's still some mitigation to it, in so much as any of the sand that is above water level, sand, dirt, or material, I think is what we should call it. Any of the material that ends up above water level would still not be displaced or whatever. So it could be a rather large place. This is 48,000 times the size of Mount Everest. So it's a big space.
Yeah, I understand that. But excuse me.
So I imagine his plan would be to throw it on top of land that is already above sea level. Otherwise,
well, that's one of the things that he mentioned.
Yeah.
Well, but he also mentioned building an island.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. And a certain portion of that would be removed is already above sea level. So
also a good point.
As far as like you were saying, or one of you was saying about if he just used it to raise land, it was below sea level, like New Orleans or parts of Florida. As the ocean levels went down, it would be compounding the amount he would be raising the land.
Yeah, it definitely would be. There are some severe issues with the idea. I mean, as Mark said before, we left out for a break a moment ago, the guy is thinking. And that's great. We need creative solutions to the problems that we face. I don't think that particular solution is feasible, but I do like the idea of doing something that, most people would characterize as just crazy in order to solve a mounting problem. And I don't know if I even agree that the oceans rising is a problem or if it's even happening. I don't particularly care one way or the other. But if it is a problem and people want to solve it, then we're going to need some sort of massive solution. It's not going to be we need to just recycle a little bit more each month, and that will solve the problem. It's going to take something that is the size of 48,000 Mount Everest.
Maybe.
Most of your most forward thinkers were considered crazy at the time.
Yep, there's no doubt. That's why I'm very careful in calling this guy crazy. He has a big idea that maybe not feasible at this time. I can't imagine it, but then again, I'm not in the earth moving business. Do we have enough equipment in the United States that we could conceivably dig 100 feet deep and 20 miles wide from San Diego to I don't know if anything sits if there's any city in Texas that sits right there at the little tippy point at the bottom. I'm not sitting in front of a map at Texas.
Oh, I'm sure we have enough equipment to do it given sufficient time.
Well, thank you so much for the call, Vern. I think it is a matter to an extent of the equipment, because in that world where global warming or rising oceans are a problem, we don't exactly have a lot of time in which to do this. You're not wrong. One person out there with a shovel could do this if they, had enough time. Obviously, one person with a shovel would not have enough time. They would die. But, I mean, the equipment is simply used to lower the amount of manpower that is actually involved so that we can complete tasks faster.
I guess the answer is basically Brownsville. There's a little farther Port Isabel, which is in South Padre Island, which are basically the the beaches of Brownsville. But Brownsville's more or less the end of so it's from San Diego to Brownsville.
I mean, if this isn't just a completely insane scenario, I mean, the people to ask would be engineers, not talk show hosts.
Well, I don't know about it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you got to get your idea has to get legs,
sure.
And somebody has to hear it.
Once it's fully fleshed out, which he pretty much admitted that it wasn't.
Well, there are engineers who are listening. So those engineers can call in anytime they want at 855-450-3733 and determine whether this idea is completely outlandish or whether it has some plausibility to it. I wouldn't be able to say one way or the other. It sounds certainly outlandish to me, but like the guy said, everybody who's had the greatest ideas in the world were considered crazy when they were first trotted out.
I mean, I would be opposed to it for other reasons, but I mean,
what are the other reasons?
If you're digging a hole that big, you're stealing a lot of property.
Okay, fair point. I was just curious.
I mean, that's the main thing.
I think that's the biggest problem is that we want to do this along the border. So there's what they call auction theory. Let's say you wanted to make a road from here to New York City.
Okay.
Or at some point, right? You can pick 3 different routes and offer the people along those 3 different routes a certain amount of money contingent upon everybody else on that route saying yes. And obviously, the shorter your road, the more likely people are going to say yes. The longer your road, the bigger problems you're going to have. But not every road has to be super long because it just has to go from city to city to city.
That gives a tremendous amount of power to the one person who says no.
But the one person who says no, there are 3 no's, right? So then the one person who says no is in competition with the other 2. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or do I need to explain? So you got 3 routes, and you give 3 people. There's 3 potential one-person no's, and there could be multiples of those along the way. But basically, there's the 3 of us, right? There's between point A and point B, the 3 of us have land, and if you 2 say yes, and I say, well, I don't know, maybe I can get a little bit more money out of them, they can come back and say, maybe you can, but we have also made this offer to 2 more routes with 3 more people on it. So now you've got somebody else you're in competition with. So it's not just sitting there waiting for that $1 million offer. Maybe you don't want to sell, and you shouldn't have to. But there are theories that kind of go around the necessity of eminent domain, which is, I believe, what the counselor is talking about here.
Well, no, there are, but that's kind of beside the point because that's not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is the U.S. is going to walk in and be like, this is mine now.
Well, that's what they would do because they could do it, and governments shouldn't have those powers. When it goes along the border, it gets a lot more complicated, by the way, because the border is a line.
And even just the ability to buy everybody out, the reason they have that ability is through other acts of aggression that they've committed. So have a quote allowing them to exercise that ability to do things like completely uprooting entire neighborhoods across vast areas of land is also something I'm not a fan of. If you go work for yourself and earn millions of dollars and now you want to buy out a subdivision for whatever reason, okay. If you just have the ability to buy out infinite, communities just because you steal a lot of money, that's also problematic.
Why are we assuming that the money is stolen?
Because it's the government.
It's being paid by the feds.
Taxation's theft.
Okay. Right. I thought we were talking about the context of a private company for some reason.
Nope.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, everything the government wants to do is going to be immoral because of how it pays for it or because of how it facilitates it. It's going to absolutely involve aggression.
That's what they do.
855-450-3733. 855-450-FREE is in Free Talk Live.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL. I believe the crypto winter is over. That, if true, means that crypto prices may be on the rise and more news will be on the horizon. Get the latest and freshest crypto news at news.bitcoin.com. They have a real staff that does real reporting, not the rehash stuff you're getting from most crypto news outlets. I am proud and happy to say that news.bitcoin.com is my first stop for all news crypto related. News.bitcoin.com. Don't forget that you can get a free Bitcoin Cash wallet and free Bitcoin Cash at free.bitcoin.com. Free crypto at free.bitcoin.com.
This is the Onion Week in Review. A study finds that Americans need 6 hours of uninterrupted sleep at work in order to leave the office feeling refreshed and alert. Leading endocrinologists told reporters that more and more people are pulling all-dayers and drinking coffee just to keep themselves awake for meetings and conference calls, and that in order to be properly rested, employees should arrive at work, check their email for a few hours, and be sound asleep by 11:30 a.m. at the very latest.
In order for the body to properly function, adults need to make sure that they're well rested and they're not staying up too late at work.
The Lord our God, divine creator and ruler of the universe, announced Wednesday that he does not consider human beings his most impressive creation, saying instead that mountains are categorically superior in every way. Claiming that mankind was a good creation and worthy of praise, the deity explained that human beings simply pale in comparison to the slopes, valleys, and sheer magnitude of a snow-capped 20,000-foot mountain, and that while all humans eventually grow old and die, mountains last forever.
This is the Onion News Network.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Take control of the airways. Tell us about whatever is on your mind. That number's 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria,
Melanie,
and Mark.
And Mark, you want to share something with us, it looks like?
Yeah, I do. I want to talk about the Tuttle twins. If you're concerned that the values that made America great are no longer being taught in schools, well, so am I. So I got my son the Tuttle twins. Not that my son is in school. He's not. He's homeschooled. But Tuttle Twins is great for kids that are homeschooled too. It's a children's book series. And with it, you can give young people in your life the chance to add reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get that stuff at school. If you use coupon code FTL, you get 40% off of the Tuttle Twins. That's a 9-book series. I actually just caught my son staying up late reading it it wasn't last night, the night before last. And I mean, this just shows the power of these things is, a kid will be caught in his room past his bedtime reading the Tuttle Twins. It's for kids between the ages of 5 and 11, and it teaches the principles of liberty to the next generation to counteract, the stuff they're learning in school. Things like the Golden Rule, entrepreneurship, law, and justice. As a matter of fact, one of them's on The Law by Bastier. I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce that. They're about 60 pages long and these classic works. Check them out. It's TuttleTwins.com. Coupon code FTL for 40% off. TuttleTwins.com. Coupon code FTL.
Very cool. Well, let's get back to the phones. There's also a story about Milo
Yiannopoulos.
Yiannopoulos.
That's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah. Being named the Grand Marshal of Boston's Straight Pride Parade. But before we get into that,
I have news for them about Milo.
We've got David from New Mexico calling. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, here's a couple fun ones for you. First of all, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to share with you. I'm talking to you from a home with no roof. The wind literally blew the entire roof off of this home the other day when it was blowing hard.
That is some kind of wind.
The whole thing. Yeah. So anyway, so that's kind of a...
Why are you in a home that has no roof on it? Why haven't you left it?
Well, you don't just snap your fingers and leave it.
So it's your home.
Yeah. So I now have to empty the contents into the replacement, and it's going to take a little time.
Yeah, it sure is.
So,
David, I'm so sorry this happened to you. All the best.
Yeah, thanks. But equally as funny as that, I have discovered yet another way that, so all criminals out there, or those who would like to be, please listen to me. I have a money-making proposition for you. I've done the research myself. I've checked it out, done 2 years worth of research, and talked to different government agencies, law enforcement at the state and the federal level. And so far, this is where I'm at, is that there is a way to continuously steal from your customers if you set up a retail business here in the state of New Mexico. And if you ever get caught, the local government, meaning the county, will not prosecute you, because if you're just stealing 10, 15, 20, 50 bucks at a time, and you can do that dozens of times a day and, make yourself hundreds of dollars a day. But if you just do it a little bit at a time, they won't prosecute you, because I've been going to this, there's a store locally that they have an old-style cash register system. In other words, they don't have a barcode scanning system.
Okay.
And they've been padding for the last 2 years. I've been gathering evidence because I don't want to confront them on them. I want law enforcement to do it. But they've been padding my receipts by an average of 10%. And the other day they went as far as to take $52. They padded my bill was large enough they were able to pad it by $52 to pocket for themselves. And so you just ring up stuff that the person's not walking out of the store with, and then after they leave, as the cashier, you just pocket that money, and nobody knows the difference unless the customer discovers it. And then if they do, the cashier, the cash register system, since all it does is print the price on a tape, it doesn't say what it was for. There's enough ambiguity there that you can have plausible deniability that it was an accident or that it even happened. And then, like I said, the kicker is I had a conversation with the New Mexico State Police white-collar detective division today on this subject, and they said that particularly in this particular county, but elsewhere as well, but particularly this county, the prosecutor, district attorney in this county will not prosecute theft in that manner. If they're taking $10, $15, $20 at a shot, no matter how many times they do it, they're not going to be prosecuted.
Interesting.
Now, would they be prosecuted if they took it directly out of the drawer?
No. If it was, yes and no. On the scheme that the state police gave me today, the answer would be no, with the exception that this is New Mexico. And so in New Mexico, more than anywhere else, because of the well-established Patron system here, it is who you steal from. If you steal from one of us carpetbaggers, gringos that came from out of state, then you're not going to get helped. But if you steal from one of the Patron, then you more than likely will get prosecuted. So,
I don't know what to do about that, because what do you do when the law decides not to enforce the law? What do you do when I guess you can declare far and wide to your friends that this place is full of crooks, but that's about all you can do.
David, thank you so much for the call. I would definitely recommend, stopping going there, first of all. When you identify one of these businesses, you continue, not to be hostile or aggressive, but you continued going to this place, letting them steal from you for 2 years, from what you have said. And that, to me, is you're victimized. They're not stealing from you at that point. You're giving them the money.
Well, it was giving them more rope to hang themselves with. But then he finds out that at first, I guess he wanted a felony as opposed to a misdemeanor.
Okay, fair point. I still would have just found a business that was not going to steal from me.
I've had this happen to me, and I stopped going there. My neighbors said that the same thing happened to them. I determined that if it happened to me, and it happened to them, that this is probably their system.
Yeah.
And I stopped going to that place. I never informed them of why I was going to stop doing business with them, because I guess I'm a coward. I don't know, but I don't want to have the conversation in broken English about why this isn't occurring anymore. I just stopped going.
That seems to be the best way to handle it. You don't necessarily have to, confront them about it. If you just don't want to do business with somebody any longer, just stop doing business with them.
Or if there's a manager and it's an employee who's doing this, then, or an owner or an employee, you can not have to confront the person who's stealing from you.
True.
And report it and see if anything happens.
I think that's the best way to do it, is to give some feedback to whoever's in charge. I didn't do that. I don't know. In this case, it could very well have been the owner. I don't know the family relationship of the person that was behind the counter, but I know that they all appeared to be of a similar ethnicity. And they had a particular religious icon on the wall, which suggested, fidelity to that. I don't know. But
interesting.
I wasn't going to take my time to do it. My life's too short for me to sit out here and accusing people of things. I'm just not interested. Just not going to do business there anymore.
855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Tent approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Take control of the airways, 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Aria,
Melanie,
and Mark.
And as promised, Milo Yiannopoulos has been appointed. Of course, he's a gay dude, and he has been appointed
pretty famously gay.
Yeah, the Grand Marshal of Boston's Straight Pride Parade.
So either they don't know what they're doing, or somebody had a brilliant idea, because this parade just went from inconsequential stupidity to absolutely fabulous.
I intend to go march in it.
Why? Why would you go down there for that?
Because it'll be funny.
Before Milo Yiannopoulos was going to be the Grand Marshal, or?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to march.
I am technically straight.
I don't know that that's so.
Technically.
Okay. Technically, by whose standards? So when people on the radio don't really know what we're dealing with here.
I'm trans.
Right.
So
you're a trans woman, which means that you at one point weren't.
Right.
And
as of late,
wait a second.
Okay.
Don't forget the sundress and the dyed bright red hair and the tattoos on the arms.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, just go to twitch.lrn.fm.
Right.
Very tall, vibrant red hair, blue streaks in it now.
Okay.
Black sundress, absolutely. Lots of tattoos.
Yep.
Getting fairly dark. Smoking outside, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And as of late, I primarily date dudes.
Okay.
Which...
Well, I don't know if primarily gets you all the way to straight, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, then I exclusively date dudes. I don't care. Let's go with that.
It depends on the time frame, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like right now, sure.
Well, in the straight world, we have a saying that if you used to be a coal miner, you're not a coal miner anymore, and you used to be a pig slopper, and you're not a pig slopper anymore. You're neither of those things. But you put one of those in your mouth, and you're that for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? And one of those is an organ of the opposite sex. And so therefore, whatever it is, I'm pretty sure at this point you can't claim to be anything but a mess, because.
Well, so if you like both, then that would make you bi. That's not anything.
Yeah. You're not technically straight. However, you can go and march
I can
in this
identify
parade.
as straight.
You can do whatever you want, as far as I'm concerned. And the Straight Pride Parade basically just opened themselves up to this sort of trolling, I would call this.
Oh, absolutely.
If you're going to go spend 2 hours driving to go to Boston to...
Yeah, it's not worth disarming myself for the joke.
Well, Massachusetts has worse gun laws, is what you're referring to. I think that it's fine if you want to have a straight pride parade. I think it's silly if you want to have a straight pride parade.
I think it's a complete waste of time.
Yeah. I would not drive to the next town over to go to a straight pride parade.
I would not get up out my chair to go to a straight pride parade.
Right. That's how I feel. I'm so... I just care so little what the people are doing in the next house next to me. I just couldn't care at all. I don't, you can't be as fabulous as the people in the gay pride parade. Why bother trying? I mean, who's going to wear a showgirl outfit? That's what I want to know.
I will.
Okay, wear a showgirl outfit, but you understand they're going to be upset at your presence. If they're throwing a straight pride parade,
I am planning.
They invited Milo though, so you can't invite Milo and then be mad at gayness or transness.
But most gays don't like Milo.
I understand and am planning for them to be upset with my presence. I would not go if I thought they would be totally okay with it.
Yes, I get the idea.
I don't think. I don't think, I mean, obviously they can't do anything about it because they paint their entire thing as just this, we're trying to make the LGBTQ movement more inclusive, right? So, okay, let's put that to the test.
I don't know that they need inclusivity. I think in some cases they need logic lessons.
Who's that, the LGBT community?
Yeah. But I don't think they need inclusivity. The idea that somebody's got to make a cake for them.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I mean, wholeheartedly agree.
You know, that if somebody doesn't want to make a cake for you, you don't want their cake. And if you want to force them to make a cake, all you're trying to do is force people to lie. And here's what I mean. This is true with any civil rights issue. If I'm a baker and I don't want to make a cake for LGBT people, and by the way, why would I not want to do that? But whatever. I don't want to. Okay. Then, and I realize the law is going to come after me, because we've had some landmark cases or whatever, then my schedule's just booked. Sorry, I don't have enough time to make a cake for you. Now I've lied rather than telling you the truth. If I'm going to be excluded, please tell me why. Please look me in the eye and say, I don't deal with your kind around here. Because at the very least, at that point, I know that you don't want my business. You don't want my friend's business. Because if you don't want my business, you obviously don't want my friend's business. So please tell me. And that's why I think that, at this point, discrimination is driven underground. Let people display their prejudice. Let them display their hate. Don't drive it underground. So I
would agree. I mean, it comes back to black market principles and just free market principles in general. If somebody wants to do something, whether it's drugs or discrimination or prostitution or whatever else society has deemed they shouldn't do and has made illegal for people to do, you're not eliminating the desire to partake in that behavior. You're not changing the person or even their actions. You're just chasing them into the shadows where there isn't any accountability. That's how you get people from, no, I don't want to bake this cake for you, to, we're going to roll up in your house at 3 o'clock in the morning with baseball bats. Because once you push them down into the underground, the only thing that ultimately matters is what they think they can get away with.
Yeah.
But as long as you have them up in the bright lights of society doing their stuff out in the open, you're faced with, oh, they don't want to sell me a cake. Okay, that sucks, but it's a lot better than being dragged out of your bed and beaten with chains and baseball bats.
And ultimately, what do you want a cake for from somebody who doesn't want to make it?
I have never understood that either.
Worst
and why would
cake
you want
ever.
to give them your money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I demand to be able to be treated just like the rest of your customers. Well, that's not going to happen, ever.
No, and you can't make it happen.
If they don't want to do it for you, you can't be like the rest of their customers.
And so, and then as a customer, you have to do really weird things to figure out how to find somebody who wants to work for you.
Yeah.
Because you can't just ask, because they have to say no. Fairly recently, and I'm not trying to equate the two, this is not the same at all, I I had to go kind of out of my way to find out what landlords didn't want me there. And I don't know still which ones were actually full and which ones just didn't want kids there.
Right. And speaking as a landlord, I can say the kids are costly from a landlord standpoint.
And they're loud. I don't want to live somewhere where my baby crying in the middle of the night is going to wake up my neighbors who are never noisy. But right. I can't even ask that, hey, can you put me somewhere where this isn't going to be a problem? Because it's illegal for them to respond to that.
Well, they probably don't know what's illegal and what's legal. But as far as that goes,
most of them have
question.
Agents over there, though.
It's a complicated question. Anyway, I mean,
there are still workarounds. If you're a landlord,
I can ask for a deposit because of your dog. I can't ask for a deposit because of your kid.
In New Hampshire, you cannot ask for a deposit because of my dog.
No,
you cannot. They got around that by charging monthly pet fees based on like animal, dog, and cat weights, but you cannot charge a pet deposit.
Huh.
Interesting.
Well,
so what I did was I called and I gave them a legal and an illegal reason why they might turn me down. But
can you elaborate?
So I have a dog and I have a kid.
Okay.
Kid's still on the inside, but like I don't want to move in 2 months again. So I called them and said, I'm looking for an apartment. And these are places that were advertising vacancies. It's me, my husband, a baby, and a puppy. And some of them would tell me that they were full. And some of them would tell me they didn't take dogs. It's illegal for them to tell me they don't take kids. But they should be able to. And I don't want to be there if you hate me.
Excellent point.
I don't want to do business with you if you don't want me there.
Do you disagree? Let us know. 855-450-3733.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-919-5435. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-919-5435. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-919-5435. 1-800-919-5435.
Excuse me, is this where I get a license to start a new business?
I wouldn't be hasty. You have to get a license to go out of business, too, you know.
Oh, well, look, I've invented this little anti-gravity machine, see?
Oh, is that why you're walking 2 inches above the floor?
Oh, yes, it's very comfortable. It saves on shoe leather.
Yeah, well, you have to fill out these forms and report to the Human Services Department of Manpower Orientation and register with the Fair Employment Practice Commission, the Wage and Hour Division of the Employment Standards Administration, the State Sales and Income Tax Division, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Social Security Administration of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, and, of course, OSHA.
OSHA? I thought that was a little town in Wisconsin.
You'll find out. Say, floating around like that could be dangerous. Have you checked with the Consumer Product Safety Commission?
Well, not yet.
Come to think of it, you actually are flying, aren't you? Look, you need to go over to the Federal Aviation Administration and the Transportation...
It's very hard to get anything done these days if you're in business, but free enterprise built this country. Think what could happen if we don't keep it free. a public service of this station and the Center for the Defense of Free Enterprise, Bellevue,
Besides,
Washington.
we just can't have people floating about unregulated, you know.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. If you're quick, you can still get in on the lines with us. With you tonight, it's Aria,
Melanie,
and Mark. I want to thank Chris Grigio, who is a gold amplifier, and you can be an amplifier too. Go to amp.freetalklive.com. Free Talk Live is unique in the radio world. We allow you to call in and talk about what's on your mind. You can bring up whatever your topic might be, and we'll talk to you about it. That's a freedom of speech stance, unlike any other show out there, or very many shows out there. Secondarily, we take a stand for liberty, every issue, every time. And if you think that's valuable, I think it's valuable. I think you should think it's valuable. Go to amp.freetalklive.com. It helps us get on more stations, get more podcast downloads, and that means more people listening to these messages. And if you're afraid that young people in America are becoming more and more socialist, maybe there should be something counteractive to counteract it. If you think it's conservatism, well, it probably isn't, because that's just what they're going to think of that as old folks. So maybe you should have a new hip philosophy for them. amp.freetalklive.com. Thanks, Chris Grigio.
Let's get right back to the phones. We've got Jacob calling in from Idaho. Jacob, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're on Free Talk Live.
Oh, okay. I wanted to talk to you guys about health care because I don't know if Mark remembered this from last night, but there was a person talking about health care and how it is a great thing and stuff, and you guys got mad at someone. I forgot what it was about though.
Okay, so I am 100% sure that we did not get mad at somebody for thinking that health care is a great thing. Are you talking about socialized health care, Medicaid, Medicare, ACA?
Medicare. Because the healthcare system is pretty weird, because my father has cancer and the hospital denies him of seeing the radiologist to get a CT scan to see his cancer, because he says, well, you're not eligible, but we are. So it's kind of ridiculous how the healthcare system is.
Yeah, it's almost as if single payer isn't going to work. Yeah, I mean, I would say I don't know what you're referring to exactly from last night, and maybe you listened to a show that I'm not thinking of. It was a different show. I don't even know. But I can say this, that what we have today is not my solution. My solution is allowing free people to transact freely in the marketplace without government interference. And we don't have anything like that. The government, before Obamacare, George Bush had made the largest government intrusion into the healthcare system. And then Obama came along and did it again. So I don't side with the Republicans or the Democrats on this issue. All I'm saying is that we would have significantly less costly healthcare in this country, that you would be able to get a CT scan. As a matter of fact, the MRI was created so that it would be ubiquitous and inexpensive. It is anything but that at this point.
Can I interject something? Jacob, I honestly understand where you're coming from. When you're on the receiving end of this, when you have a family member being told that they cannot receive life-saving treatment because of some kind of bizarre regulatory system, the idea of a free market solution and all of that is completely and totally removed.
Right, who cares?
From your
I just want a
actual
solution
experience.
today,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, your concern is going to be getting your father the treatment that he needs.
I think it's grandfather. Grandfather?
Father or grandfather?
No, my father.
Okay, sorry to hear that.
And I think the best way to do that, I mean, here now in the real terms, because we're not going to destroy the government overnight, is probably to utilize something along the lines of GoFundMe or one of these other places that will allow you to raise the funds necessary to do it. And I know it feels like you shouldn't have to do that, or your father shouldn't have to do it, right?
Yeah. It's just so hard, man, because our whole family it's so jacked up with cancer. We've lost 5 family members. It's stupid thing in healthcare, man. It's just
and that's true because the prices should just be affordable in the first place. So you shouldn't have to do that.
But he does
entirely
have
ridiculous.
to do that. I mean, let's stay focused on that. All the talk of he should and stuff like that, it doesn't change the situation that he's in.
What kind of cancer has taken 5 members of your family?
kidney cancer, lung cancer, and heart cancer.
Okay.
All very bad
Sorry to hear
types
it.
of cancer. Yeah. I wish I had a solution to this situation. I mean, ultimately, I think the best thing to do is probably going to be something like GoFundMe and hope for the best. And of course, that's a long shot. It's a Hail Mary.
Yeah. Advocating for socialized single-payer healthcare is not going to solve this.
No, and it won't be any faster.
Right. The government isn't an institution known for innovation. And when it is the organization that's in charge of paying for healthcare, you're going to see less and less innovation over time. Currently, you see innovation now at the rate that we see it today, and that's, a greater rate than when you take the number one marketplace in America, in the world, and turn it to, turn it into a socialized single-payer system. Are people going to get their broken arms set? Are people going to get some kind of cancer treatment? Sure, but
yeah, I think the question that we should ask here is: would this doctor, of their own accord, actually choose to deny service to someone who had cancer?
Probably not.
I would think not. There's bound to be something in the way there, and I mean it does happen. There have been a fair number of trans people here in recent years who died of like ovarian cancer and things like that, and the doctors refused to cure them, saying that no, you're a man, I'm not going to do this, whatever. So doctors certainly refuse service to people, but I don't think it's very common, and it's normally some sort of weird bigotry that they have, not just, oh, this person's sick, I don't care.
And if you removed all the regulations, they could just go down the street to the next doctor and not have to stick with their enrolled PCP or within their, usually an insurance company comes with a set of doctors.
Right. If you want to figure out what broke healthcare in the United States, you got to go back decades. You've got to go to things like the 90% income tax bracket that the federal government had back in the 50s and 40s and in that general vicinity. Could have been earlier than that, 30s. I don't know. And realize that healthcare insurance, health insurance was created as a benefit for employment because you couldn't get rich people to come with a higher paycheck. If you're only getting a dime for every dollar you offer more, why wouldn't you offer benefits like a company car and dental and health and all these other things?
It's also true that we broke it by overusing it. You wouldn't use your
sense that somebody's going to try not to try to get what they can out of it. Once you've paid for your insurance, and your insurance is supposed to cover your health care as far as you're concerned, obviously you're going to try to use it and get your money's worth.
That's also not
the problem is health care.
But those aren't risks. Those are predictable predictable, understandable maintenance in the same way that changing your oil is routine maintenance.
Agreed, but the problem is that the government forced businesses into a situation where they're like, well, let's just give you the Gold Star Cadillac insurance, and then people are going to use the Gold Star Cadillac insurance like it's supposed to be, and then everybody's like, how come he gets the Gold Star Cadillac insurance and I don't get the Gold Star Cadillac insurance? Well, the same reason that he gets a higher paycheck than you, but whatever. And then the labor unions come in, they negotiate the health care, and then everybody's, using insurance instead of just paying for the service, which is what they should have been doing in the first place, because then you can determine whether you need it or not.
That's also not always an option. I know people who have tried to just pay cash when either their deductible was higher than the service, or they just didn't feel like dealing with it or something like that. Especially if it's your regular doctor that already knows you have insurance, you can't do that.
That happened to me.
And so if you need something that should cost $20, you can't just pay them $20. They have to bill your insurance for $200 so that they can deny, 75% of it.
That's absolutely insane.
It is.
I did not realize that you had to overbill.
Well, it's when my wife was pregnant, we went to the hospital, and as we're checking in, they want to know all your information so that they can, bill you, of course, after it's done. And they asked insurance, and we said, this isn't covered by insurance. And then the officious little bureaucrat's like, I just need your insurance information so we can have it on file.
Oh, yeah, that too. Even if your insurance is going to pay $0, you still have to file it through your insurance.
Right. And what this did was it then it canceled out the cash discount that we got, and they've charged us full boat. I mean, I wish I could go back in time and strangle this little jerk.
I understand your frustration. Violence is never the answer, though. You know that. He's joking. He's not being serious. This has been Free Talk Live. Thank you for listening. Go check out all of the archives at freetalklive.com.
Have you checked?
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service.